Hey guys, what is going on? Well, this is your old pal, CHH. Come on in, everybody come in, have a seat. It's good to see everybody, and today's going to be a fun one. I get to talk about a really cool series again, and I want to go back to earlier this year when there was a surprise attack at Walmart, and that surprise attack was the Faces of Death. When this was hitting Walmart, I remember people were like, no, it's not there, it's not there. Sure enough, it was there. I even did a TikTok and did a review on this showing me going to Walmart and getting it. And still people in the comments were saying, you brought that movie there and put it there. How could I have done that? I didn't own Faces of Death to begin with. No, but seriously, what a cool time. And I wanted to do this video to update it because here's the reality. I think a lot of people wanted this version and they almost didn't want to have to buy it online, whether it be through Walmart if they even sold it there, or get a certain other type of Gorgon video release because they wanted to say, I got Faces of Death at Walmart. And believe me, I wanted to say that too, and I was able to. I did a full review on this release as well as talking about the controversy, if you want to call it that. I think there was a little bit, a lot of people, it was less with Walmart, but more people thinking it was fake. But I did a whole review on this release, and the reason I wanted to buy this and review this is, number one, I do think it's a really cool-looking release, and number two, this may be able to scratch the itch for a lot of people that possibly missed out on this, and they want to have something cool in regards to Faces of Death. Now, mind you, that was a collection. What we're looking at today is a Steelbook release on Blu-ray of the original Faces of Death. Look at that Steelbook. For the camera is making it seem like the skeleton is not bright, but you can see it very, very well. Here it is, Faces of Death, guys, on Blu-ray. Now, if you're not aware of what Faces of Death is, let's talk briefly about this. Faces of Death, my first experience was going home and seeing my buddies after school, and there was this website called eBaum's World. Now, eBaum's World was before YouTube. We're talking 2002, 3. We would watch Numa Numa over and over again. We would watch these rando clips that I can't remember the names of them, but back then they were legendary clips. These were clips that were circulating all over the internet during this time. The OG, the Star Wars kid doing the Jedi stuff where he just goes nuts and starts throwing this lightsaber, but it's really just like a broomstick hitting the wall and stuff. He falls down, busts his ass. It was hysterical. And then all of a sudden, he's like, dude, I found like this like dark web type stuff. It's like a guy's chest completely open, his heart's beating. And sure enough, right then and there, I was watching the opening to Faces of Death. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how is this on the internet? This is illegal. This is a person. This is like, what is this? Then I would see a clip of these people sitting around a dinner table, and there's this monkey head in the middle of the table, and people start whacking the monkey like it was a game, like whack-a-mole at Chuck E. Cheese. Just boom, boom. They're going around a table. Then they're starting to eat the monkey. I would see other clips, car crashes with bodies burnt on the side of the road. I was like, how is this on the internet? I thought it was all real, all of it. And I think that's the beauty of Faces of Death now. It's almost like the Blair Witch Project. I feel like I'm very fortunate that I was around when the Blair Witch was coming out because the magic of what that movie did has stayed with me for so long. And I think the same can be said for Faces of Death, right? I mean, yeah, we know now that the stuff in here isn't real, with the exception of, I think, the slaughterhouse stuff. That was a slaughterhouse. They were killing animals. It was for food, but they were taking out animals in the film. But in Faces of Death, I find myself going back to that time, being like, oh my God. I allow myself to believe what I'm seeing on screen. That's probably why I love found footage so much. I wouldn't call Faces of Death a found footage movie by any stretch, but it's a voyeur footage movie. Like, that's the way I look at Faces of Death. With the narration going on, it's really, really interesting. I love watching this film because it takes me back. But I understand that I don't think a lot of people, or there's an audience of people that's not going to be into Faces of Death, whether it's fake or not. Now, there is this legend of something called Traces of Death people have told me to see. Now, Traces of Death is supposed to be real stuff. Now, I can't lie and say that my curiosity isn't piqued, but I also don't really want to broadcast to my audience to watch something that's legitimately real or necessarily promote it. But I have that morbid curiosity side of me. I kind of want to see it. Somebody that's seen it, please, down below, tell me if Traces of Death is real. Like, is it out there? Does it have an official release? I need a little bit more info. Part of me doesn't want to look into it because I love the mystery of not knowing if something's real or not, especially with movies like this. So, people today, they can kind of gawk at Faces of Death a little bit and say, oh, that's so silly, people think it's real. But sue me, I love going back to those moments where I had ignorance and I was naive. Makes movies more fun to me. So with that being said, guys, I'd love to talk about this release. Now, the difference here is this. This release is a collection of Faces of Death 1 through 4. Now, if you really don't want to see real or fake animal stuff, 1 is not going to be the one for you. Now, some of these I actually like. I think 1 and 4 are the best I think 1 and 4 are my favorite Faces of Death for what that's worth. 4 had some crazy, crazy stuff in it. And this collection comes on separate discs. This is a Gorgon video release, and the other one we're going to look at is not a Gorgon video release. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there are special features on here, and I actually want to talk about this. This one has Gorgon video trailers of the Faces of Death series, the Strange and Gruesome and Beyond Bizarre. And then there's Faces of Death Fact or Fiction and the Worst of Faces of Death. So you may be wondering, okay, well, Christian, this new Steelbook you have, maybe it's got some different special features. Well, that's the Blu-ray back there that you're seeing on the TV. Now, again, for the Steelbook people that are fans of Steelbooks, you may be into this Steelbook for Faces of Death. I was like, I want to get this so I can talk about it because it's always just maybe a little taboo today, I don't know. But here's the thing. This is a Gorgon Video and Dark Sky Films release. That's right, the infamous Dark Sky Films. But you know what? We're on a clean slate. I have nothing bad to say about Dark Sky Films. I'm not going to make fun or poke fun or make jokes about the Texas Chainsaw thing anymore. I think people are sick of me doing that. Fair enough. I'm not going to poke fun. I made lemonade out of lemons. But anyway, this is a Dark Sky Film and Gorgon video release. Let's just get the price out of the way. I'd love to talk to you guys about the price. The price of this was $29.99. It's $30. So not exactly cheap. But I gotta be honest, I feel like that's competitive today with a lot of the other stuff that's coming out on Steelbook. Now, here's the other thing we can talk about. Just without the J card, it's got a flat black. There's nothing on it. It smudges very easily. Now, here's the thing I want to talk about. The picture quality on this is rough. But obviously this was shot with, I think, either Super 8 film for a lot of stuff, maybe film in other stuff, 16 possibly. It looks very guerrilla filmmaking style. Not bad. Now, you're probably saying, well, if the picture quality is a big jump, there's a chance I could be interested in it. Well, I watched it and compared. It does have a little bit of a better image, but you have to consider the source, meaning the way they film this stuff. It's very, not amateur, but really modest documentary style. There is a little bit of a smoother look with a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like the film grain on the Blu-ray looks a lot more higher quality, if there's a way I can explain that, than the grain and look you'll see on the DVD release, specifically Part 1. But it's not something that necessarily benefits from the look of Blu-ray. Doesn't hurt it whatsoever. It's not like this is an AI upscale as far as I'm aware, where you take a VHS rip of something like Subspecies 4 and then it's supposed to look great and it looks like garbage. That's not the case here. It does look a little bit better, but it's nothing to brag or write home about. That's what I'm getting at, I guess. Now, let's look on the inside for the artwork. I do think this is cool. Look at that. That's pretty heavy metal. That'd be a great tattoo right there. I'll call him the Faces of Death Reaper. So you got all the skulls and everything here. It's a 1-disc release. Now, in terms of special features, I actually have it pulled up right there. You can see it, but let's look at the back. and we'll talk about this. I'll even show you right here. We'll start at the bottom. Outtakes, trailers, deleted scenes, The Deathmakers featurette with FX creator Alan A. Apone and Douglas White, Choice Cuts featurette with editor Glenn Turner, commentary with the director, and new Many Faces of Death. Now, what is that? That is a documentary made for this release. So, did I like the documentary? Do I think it's worth an upgrade? Well, the reality is I never think answers can simply be a black and white yes or no, but hear me out. Let's talk about it. So that featurette, The Many Faces of Death, I do have to admit I liked it a lot. I do wish it was longer. I think it clocked in right under 20 minutes. It might have been about 15 to 17 minutes long. But they got these amateur horror filmmakers, editors, and some blog writers or horror journalists, and they edited it to make it feel like a 2006 YouTube documentary, or just like an early 2000s documentary for horror, like a modestly made one. There's some examples I could give on the quality, but it may not work, for instance, because some of you may not be wrestling fans, but there was an ECW documentary that WWE didn't make. It was another one that had guys like Shane Douglas and stuff in it. It's made well, but you can tell it's a vintage made thing from the 2000s. They actually made this documentary on here feel like it was made in like 2005, and it was all aesthetic, the way they made it look like it was older cameras and stuff. It was filters and stuff they put on it. I did like it, though. It really fit the vibe. And what I liked about the documentary is, yes, there was some really great information about the doc, but a lot of the people in here, they talked about what I was talking about, why the movie works for them, because it has that Blair Witch effect of seeing it in bits and pieces on the internet when the internet was coming around, and how, the film really doesn't have a new audience. It just has fans from the older days. Maybe there's newer people that'll get into Faces of Death if they see it, but I actually enjoyed it. It was very much almost like, there were almost moments of like introspection that they gave about why Faces of Death can be like not a beneficial thing for you to watch, but how today it's like how the world has changed, which back then when people were seeing this, like me and the people in this documentary, they were shocked by it. But people nowadays, if like a 18-year-old kid watches this, they may say, oh, I've seen stuff worse on Instagram, like forbidden footage pages on Instagram or Twitter. I've seen worse death that's real on the internet. So that's the thing about Faces of Death, is like its reputation wouldn't really work for kids today, but for the people that saw it back then, they remember the feeling it gave them. So it was a pretty cool I liked it. It was, like I said, it clocked in under 20 minutes. It was over 10, but under 20. I didn't exactly time it, but I could just tell by it. And is this worth getting? Is this worth upgrading? I mean, it's really hard to say. The picture quality, I would give it a notch above, based off of the DVD, a notch above. Same with the audio. I think it was probably identical as far as, they're both disc formats, so I think the audio is probably the same. They're probably both mono soundtracks. I didn't get much detail on that as far as I can remember. But actually, it is a 5.1 on here is what it said. So but the audio sounded fairly identical. I couldn't really tell much of a difference between these two. But I don't know. I think for some people, they'll be like, well, you know what? I didn't get the Walmart release. I'm into that. And other people will say, I got the DVDs. It's a cool Steelbook, but I don't want to spend $30 to get this. I want to give you the details, and you decide for yourself. I'm not going to tell you upgrade or don't upgrade. Take the information, and you can decide for yourself. But I do love Faces of Death. It brings me back to my childhood, and remembering how I felt like I should be watching it. So with that being said, guys, think about it. Watch for sales if you're on the fence, if you're not in a rush. But if you missed out on this and you don't have any Faces of Death at all, I think you might get a kick out of this. And then Gorgon Video always has those collections on sale on the website. That way you can get 2, 3, and 4 if you're so obliged to. But that's it for now, guys. I'll give this release one thumb up. I give it release one thumb up, but I wasn't expecting to come on here and be like, oh my God, you have to get this. Decide for yourself, take what I give you and kind of calculate all that, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Faces of Death on Steelbook from Dark Sky and Gorgon Video. God bless you guys. See y'all next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.